Om. Om. Sahana vavatu Sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant and may we not carol at each other. Om, peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. We welcome everyone to the Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. We are grateful to Swami for blessing us to continue to participate in this Gita Jnana Yajna. Because, Bhagavad Gita, we talked many times, it is the essence of all the Upanishads. So you should go on recollecting. That is where Swami wrote Gita Vahini, and Swami gave discourses on Gita many times, Bhagavad Gita in 84, and in different occasions chose in 1990 and then 2000, many times. So shows how much important the Gita is. That is where Swami says, you will read Gita if your Gita is good. In Telugu, we have common saying, Gita means there is this writing on your forehead that good destiny, bad. If your good destiny is there, Gita, that is the thing, and you will read Gita. So we are all have good Gita. That is why we are participating in this. And another thing, at the end of each chapter, what does it say? Bhagavad Gita su Upanishad. So it is a Upanishad by itself. And then second, Brahma Vidya. So it is knowledge of Brahman. So you don't need even Brahma Sutras. If you can read, all those are good, but people who can't is equivalent to reading the Upanishad and Brahma Vidya. Third one, Yoga Shastra. It is a Yoga Shastra like Patanjali Yoga Shastra people read. So it is equivalent to that. So every dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna is when we do that, we are equivalent to each week. We are reading a Upanishad and we are learning Brahma Vidya and we are having the developing with the Yoga Shastra. So with that is why the maximum number of translations by great people, all philosophers and others, everybody on Bhagavad Gita, even great scientists like Oppenheimer, Heisenberg, and many other great scientists found this reveals the highest truth. So anyway, once we are having discussion every week, that is Shravanam we are hearing. But what are the next two steps? Very important. Mananam and Nididhyasanam. So we need to go back and contemplate on that. Swami gave a beautiful example. When we were there one time in Vrindavan, Thrai Vrindavan, students were feeling sad after the summer. Swami spends a lot of time. Then they have to leave. Leaving from God who showers so much love, it is very sad. So they were feeling bad. So Swami says, no, we should be like a cow. Who want to be? So like a cow eats the grass, goes to the fields and eats grass quickly, as much as possible. After that, it goes to a corner, sit quietly, and brings out that cud and brings that cud and chews the cud so that it can digest and then it goes into the system, assimilates it. So similarly, whatever we listen, whatever we read, we need to contemplate to get benefit. But the more important third one, at least second, contemplate, Third is nididhyasana, putting into practice. That is why this Gita, Bhagavad Gita, is called one of the nididhyasana texts. Like Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, they are all for contemplation. But this is daily you can practice. That is why, where was it taught? It was taught in the middle of battlefield, because Upanishads and all that in a guhas, in caves where the people contemplate and the truths came, the great truths for those great sages and saints. But this was taught in the middle of the battlefield. That shows it is for people who are in active life, whether you are a householder, a saint, whatever you are, it is applicable to all people. That is why beginning itself, what does it start? Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre. This is the Kshetra means field. We are all in the field of Dharma. And Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra means not just that physical place near Delhi, there is a battlefield, but Kuru means action. A field of action. We're all from morning to evening, field of action. So it is applicable to all this. So I think I want people to volunteer from now on. Whatever we took next week onwards, we can give rotation, like 5 minutes. Somebody gives the summary of what we did, of what we talked about. So, and then, yes, that is good. So that means that is more like, instead of passive listening, it is active and you contemplate and do the studies. Like I'm summarizing the beginning, this is what happened. The more you contemplate and do that, it is good. So who wants to next volunteer? Chiranjeev, you want to volunteer for next Thursday? So good, very good. Like that, we'll have different people. So some people in the past happened, don't run. If you don't want, nobody will force you. Because one time it happened 20 years ago, we said, yeah, we'll do it. And they didn't see next time. Why? What happened? Because they are carried, they will be asked to. So nobody is forced. If you only enjoy doing that, you are for our own benefit. So then only do that. So anybody, you yourself volunteers for your own good. That will be helpful. Prajnan can do. So anybody, there is no age limit for that. Any gender, anybody can do. So anyway, recollecting. So we are, huh? Your team up with Prajnan. Good team. Yeah. And then you need to do that, because this 12th chapter, as your chapter of devotion, is very important. We are doing this sloka 16, which Swami expounded on that so much. I said he did it in 1990, he did it in 2000, so many times he did, showing the importance. All slokas are important, and these are. So first, in the beginning, what is Arjuna asked? Which is better to worship, God with form, God without form? This is always question. And what did Lord Krishna say? Anything you do with faith and one-pointedness and also all the time, then you will be able to, whichever path is good. Main thing what is needed is that faith and one-pointedness and doing all the time. And then, but he says the path is Saguna and Sakara. You worship God with name and form. Most of us are like to go to temple, do worship. That is a path. You should remember, it is not the end. End is Nirguna Nirakara. You should be able to experience that ultimate. That is the goal. We should also have that goal. But for that, this path is good. Because why this path, Nirguna, is hard? Because for that you need to have mastery of the senses, and you should be able to help all people and equal-minded. Sanyam indriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhaya sarvabhuta hiterata. A lot of us don't have that. We are developing that. So next is worship God with name and form. In that, he says, keep me in your mind and intellect all the time, then you will become one with me. Then he gives 4 choices. What is that? First choice is, just keep your mind and intellect on me all the time. You will become one with me. You will become moksha. You will be liberated. So then you can do that. Then what should you do? Practice abhyas. Go on every day. It's same time, morning, evening, night, whatever it is. Abhyas. Constant practice. Everything is practice, right? Yeah. When learning a bicycle or riding the computer. So constant practice. And they say, oh, even that is hard. my mind wanders all over, then do God's work. Take part in the mission. So go to a temple, there sweep the floor, or water the plants in the precincts of the temple, help in setting up an altar, or go to do service in a place where they have need. Anything related to the activities of for the highest good of the society and expressing love for God. That is the next best. And you say, no, I don't have time, I'm so busy at work. And he says, whatever you do, you just offer it to me. Krishna Arpanamastu, Sai Arpanamastu. Just before, think about it and say, dedicate all acts to me. Then that also will take. And for that, when you dedicate actions, you should give up the fruits of action. That is very important. And then in connection, after he finishes that, then he starts talking from Shloka 13 to 20th, the qualities of a devotee. What are the qualities? There are 35 qualities. People are scared. I said last time, we don't need one quality is enough to practice love. If you practice love, automatically all the other qualities will come. So we finished in this shloka 3 qualities. First is anapeksha, that is not to have selfish desires, just only have desire for God. So that is first quality. Second is suchi, that means purity, inner cleanliness, outer cleanliness. Outer cleanliness, how do you get outer cleanliness? By doing selfless service. Always do selfless service. Chittasya shuddhiye karmana. You gets purified. Then inner cleanliness is the most difficult. Get rid of all our negativity, selfish desire, greed, attachment, pride, and jealousy. They are the greatest enemies. So first you need to get rid of them. So that is the cleanliness. That is because so much importance. All our spiritual practices, Swami said, is only to get the purity of the heart. So whatever we do, Goseva, if you still have all these problems, that means we need to do more. So because you do service doesn't mean there is a difference between a spiritual organization and the NGOs like Rotary Club, Lions Club, Red Cross. They do much more service than such an organization, Ramakrishna Mission, Chinmaya Mission. But here the purpose is our own transformation. That is the major difference. That is also good. They are doing good society, but here you are not only doing good society, you are transforming yourself. That is why the famous quotation, which favorite of Vivekananda is Atmano Mokshartham Jagad Hitayacha. For our own salvation and for the good of society. So you are redeemed as well as helping the society. So that is the second thing. That's why you need to have the purity. Our conference was purity is enlightenment. We had a lot of discussion. And third quality is, we talked last week, daksha. Daksha means absolute determination. I won't get up. I will achieve self-realization in this life itself. You can't postpone another life. Anyway, another life will come. Ultimately, there's beauty about the Vedanta. There's nobody who is not going to be realized. Everybody, including an ant, will be realized ultimately, because we all came from God. We have to go back from God. That is the. But do you want to go through so many lifetimes, suffer, again born, go to school, get beaten by the teachers and parents, and then again go look for a job or family, and then worry about the support. This is going on, repeating each time. So we said, enough of it. I don't want any more. I want to be free and liberated, be happy. So that is why you need to have this determination, daksha. Another meaning for daksha is also, daksha means expert. He is very good. Whatever he does, whether he is singing, whether he is reading, whether he is an artwork, he is playing sports, whatever you do the best of your ability. So whatever you do, attention to details. And there are all these great masters are like that. Whatever you do, they do to the best of ability. That is why I often say that Swami Vivekananda said the cobbler who makes the best pair of shoes is greater than a king who doesn't rule the kingdom properly. So whatever you do, you do to the best of your ability. That is what you should excel in everything. And I also said, Swami, sometimes when they got A grade, I said, no good. You should get O grade. So that is, I was confused. Then O grade is outstanding grade. I thought, O means 0. I said, yeah, A plus is good. Why Swami is telling me good? O grade, outstanding. So whatever we do, we should be outstanding. That is the third quality, daksha. So that's daksha. But we should not be like Daksha Prajapati. You heard of Daksha Prajapati, right? This is the Prajapati, one of the Daksha. He was in the worldly sense, father-in-law of Lord Shiva. He was very efficient. We know he's very well versed in scriptures. He was Prajapati means he is equivalent to and he is the son of Brahma. But major problem is he has got ego. So once you have the ego is gone, everything is gone. So that's why his whole head has to be taken off. So you should be careful. You should have efficiency, but with humility and love. That is the important thing. So two things. One is determination. Second is adapt and efficiency. These two are very important features. So we finished 3 qualities. Now next comes. Who is continuing? Oh, go ahead. Anybody else? If you had, this is not like we have to finish this thing today, tomorrow. There's nothing. There's no syllabus. There's no timeline. It is where we have to dive deep, and we need to understand what is happening, and feel free to make any comments and have any questions, suggestions. We should have a free discussion. And go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is on.
Yeah, it's on.
Yeah.
One quick question. I know last week satsang about when we were talking about the determination, you mentioned about the Gayatri mantra D has the 5 components. I was actually looking at an Eternal Companion, June 22, was written editorial. It's beautiful about the Gayatri mantra. Question I have is, I know there are 5 components, Meda, Prajna, Dhriti, and Smriti. The first one is the so that the that opening of the spiritual heart, is that the same thing? People use it as a that Gnana Chakshu,
no, the Jnana Chichu is the ultimate. Once we have Jnana Chichu, we liberated spiritual, widening the heart for love. So just instead of hard heart, so just opening the heart for spiritual heart. Because and people think another thing, this, our heart is here, but spiritual heart is not. The spiritual heart, it is the Narayan Suktam. If you read, you will show that it's in the center, it has these things. So this is complete. And another way, some people say it's all pervading. So this is not with the physical heart we talk about. That is what the Dhi is. Then Meda and everything else, no. So why don't you tell for the sake of everybody? Can you remember all the 5 things? Yeah, what is Dhi? What Dhi she already said. Next one is what? Next is, anyway, you can say in any order, but usually Dhi is Medha. Medha is? Higher intellect. Okay, then? What is Prajna? Awareness. Awareness. More absent. What is Dhruti? What we are talking about, determination. Smriti? It's like the memory. Yeah, if you have good memory. So all these faculties will develop when we do Gayatri. Your spiritual heart opens, you'll get higher intellect, your determination will go up, you'll get good memory and your awareness. So that is why this is such a powerful mantra. Yeah, that is the answer. So that is what you had the question.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so Yashidev is doing. Yeah, it's not working. That's
okay, it's working. Sairam.
Yeah.
Sairam.
I just wanted to make one. It reminded me of one story when we talked about daksha. Daksha means determination, and we read last week. Swami said the third quality that the devotee must have is daksha, or strong and unshakable determination. You must say, "Come what may, I shall not rest till I accomplish this or achieve this." I just remembered the story that Brother Leonardo Guter always tells about him losing his passport one time in the airport. And he's such a good speaker, and he was saying the way to achieve Swami is not to let go. And he sat and he said, "Swami, please, Swami, please, Swami, please." He just sat and just prayed and prayed. And when he went out, somebody came and said, "Is this yours?" And he opened it. He looked. The money was there, everything, and he wasn't worried about the money. He was worried about his passport, and everything was there. And he just looked up, and that person had disappeared. I feel that is determination. Yeah. He said, "This is how you achieve God. You don't let go." I know we're talking about spiritual matters, but at that moment he needed that.
But
so
there is a spiritual, because he's praying not to somebody else. He's praying to God to help. So that time he is connected to God and God intensely. That means,
and
Lord,
that trip was Swami related. He was going to give a talk. So when we discussed this, I thought of him and I thought of this story.
Yeah, that's a good story, because whatever it is, you need to have that kind of determination. And the only person you should ask help is God. Because he's ultimately, even kings, presidents, everybody will go to God. So why don't you directly go to God? So you can have a prayer intensity to God.
I'm reminded of a story in Satyam Shivasundaram of the Chincholi family. I think this girl, Manjula, I think she once asked Mommy, "I want moksha." And she was, I think, 9 years old. And it's like she didn't want anything else. Mommy tried to distract her, like, your mother and father are going to be sad that you're gone. And you have a whole life ahead of you in your marriage. And she kept saying, "I just want to merge in you. I want moksha." And Swami gave her that after 2 weeks when she returned home. So, like, she at that age was able to have that daksha persistence. I was reminded of that story.
It's a good story, because there is a divine grace. How many 8-year-old kids will have? They will want to play games or go to movies or just do that. So that is like Pahlada, the previous life, good samskaras makes them have that. So just that is why Swami says, I may give you mukti but not bhakti. So you should have the pure love, intense love for God. Then automatically you will get mukti. That is good. So all this shows how much we need to have complete dedication, so longing for God. Yeah. You are doing that, Sridevi? Okay, good.
Next comes udasina, which means detachment. You must be totally detached with respect to whatever you are doing. You can do any kind of work. You may, for example, be engaged in service activity. However, you should not have expectation of any type, including the outcome, and also not seek any reward, praise, appreciation, etc. for what you are doing. Especially while working for service organizations, you should be very careful. You must not have any craving for fame and name. You must not seek praise and respect. You should not lament, "I am working so hard and doing so much, but there is no mention of it whatsoever in the newspapers." If you do your work with such cravings and expectations, then the good that you might be doing is nullified and the sanctity of the work is destroyed. Therefore, you must do service work sincerely, being immune to success and failure, praise, as well as criticism.
Good. This is very important. It is practical. Yeah.
So this is I mean, we do a lot of service activities. I think Swami here is telling the udasina does not mean you avoid your responsibilities. You do your actions, your service full-heartedly. But whatever the outcome, you have to leave it to him. Don't worry about the results. And he specifies the seva because we all know that, in our Saya organizations, it's okay. But you mentioned so many Red Cross and all these other organizations. There are some very good people, but a lot of people want their name on the wall. They want their name printed in the newspaper. And I think Swami gave an example. People will give 5 rupees in donation, but pay 200 rupees to get their name in the paper or on the wall. So when we say udasina, means we have to avoid being attached and to a praise also. If somebody praises you, you say thank you and then just offer it to Swami. If they criticize you, say thank you and offer that also to Swami. So be mentally detached from the result, the praise, the blame, everything.
But that is important, but it's not easy. I remember 40 years ago, I was doing new to Swami, and they in our Methodist hospital, we have a Red Cross unit. They were building a special building, and they said, whoever wants to donate. We donated, but they said, no, we want to put a brick in the name of you. Said, no, I don't want my name. No, at least then somebody whom you love. I said, Sathya Sai Baba I gave. So Swami's name. So next I saw that brick they put. So what they did was Mr. and Mrs. Sathya Sai Baba. And I put a photograph of that. I should have been dumb. Swami knows. I took a picture, and next trip I went to see Swami. I showed the picture Swami. I put the thing. This is that class building, the color thing. They do a lot of service. Then Swami, hey, what is this, Mr. and Mrs. Sathya Sai Baba? Swami, they put it. No, you didn't give the right information. He scolded me. It took place like that. People want, but that is what they don't understand. If you said you don't want the name, that is a part of their thing. If you give money, they want to put some name. Then no, at least put Swami. This is very tricky. So even in bhajans, everything you need to. Somebody said one recently heard Swami student who is a good singer. Swami, he wants to have a chance. Everybody wants to sit in front of Swami. Swami, I want to sing bhajan. Oh, yeah, go ahead and sing. Then he told his teacher, music teacher, Swami gave me permission. He told you to sing bhajans. He didn't tell you to lead bhajans. You can follow with other people. Not that you will sing bhajans. So people, this attachment, I want to sing, I want to lead. Who prevents you to follow the bhajan? So these are all various attachments we have. I want to be the leader singing. You can sing God's bhajan. The leading bhajan only gets credit. Anybody who follows the bhajan with love will do that. I was surprised, even famous singer, I don't want to tell no more. He was given Padma Bhushan award. He says, no, I should have been given Bharat Ratna. So they refuse. So how they want this name and fame, and same thing, Radhakrishna, Sarvepalli Radhakrishna, he was the president of India, and he wrote even a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. He's a great philosopher, not only statesman. And when he was not offered, when he was president, so he said, I'm going to go to Oxford as a professor. So even though he wrote on Gita to practice, I want position, I want to be that is not easy. So this attachment for name, fame, position, recognition, it is subtle. Even service activities, I do this, they won't even recognize I do the service, they didn't put me in that committee, I have been doing. Really you want to do service? You don't want to even be known. Swami was telling about, you might have read in the Discourse, there was one lady, she quietly at 4 a.m. she used to go and give blankets in the town. You might have read that. But she used to humbly head down. Somebody said, you're doing such a good work, you should be head up, you should give what is there. No, God is giving me with so many hands. I'm just giving with these 2 hands, so I feel humbled. That kind of humility some people have, that they don't want that name. I told you the story of James Johnson from Ohio. Did anybody remember?
Answering machine.
Huh?
Answering machine.
No, there is one thing. Answering machine is gratitude, but he gave $100,000. The whole thing he gave it to Swami. He is poor. He didn't even have a car. He didn't have money to eat. So his sister died, and he gave that whole thing 100,000. That time Swami was building the super specialty in Puttaparthi in 1991. So he was inaugurated in 1990. So he just gave that whole thing, and they announced his name in the Hillview Stadium. And the people couldn't believe, because this guy is so poor. How can he can't even give $1,000? Then he came back and told me, "Oh, they announced your name," because nobody believed that people from Ohio. Then he didn't want anybody. Oh my God, how did? Because Swami announced all the people who gave big money, but this man didn't want to know, let his name be known. He's an African American, so he used to be in contact with Haima all the time. He says, "Mrs. Reddy, you came from Puttaparthi, can you send you some vibhuti?" And he's the one who said, because we were not home, and then he left a message in the answering machine. "Oh, this is James Jan's son, please send me vibhuti." Then at the end, that is the thing. Answering machine, thank you very much, you took the message from me. So he is seeing the feelings in the answering machine. Anything which is useful to us, anything, for microphone, person, anything, we should be grateful. That is why our Sanatana Dharma, we express thanks to the books, to the stethoscope, to the car, everything, because anything which serves us in life, we should be grateful, not only to the people, but things and everything. That is the very important thing. So this attachment is a tricky thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I said about the bhajan. Who did she sing for?
Actually, amazing you say that. Exactly, that is what Swami said in the Discourse. Meera, Tyagaraja, Purandar Das, and Surdas, their kirtanas are eternal. Even today they get. And these people give for these celebrities some of the things for the acclaim to Padma Shri, money, or things. So anything that's why they are for a while they're popular, and then you forget. Whereas these people who sing eternal, that is why lesson is for us. For the name of bhajan, let me tell you, in the all over the world, including Prashanti, so much politics and controversies. When you develop, I can always sing for God. I can sing in my puja room. Who prevents me? What is your big show? I want to sing as if only you sing there expressing. I think that is the ignorance and arrogance. So it is not. So if they give you a chance, oh, you're a great singer, do that. Some people, particularly who are not good singers, they think they're great singers and want to push their way. Oh, they didn't give me a chance. That is not good. That is wrong. So just if you give a chance, good. If not, is okay. It doesn't matter. You can always sing for God. Nobody can prevent it between you and God. That is a very important thing.
I remember three things. One is this story of the Haridas versus Tansin.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinakata, why is Akbar not getting that joy every time Tansin sings to him? So he showed him his guru Haridas, and Haridas is singing to Krishna or Vishnu, and so there's a difference. Or singing for an earthly king, it's going to be an eye on the wealth and all that, but Haridas is singing for the Lord of all wealth, so it's always
Good point. Yeah, when you
fulfilling.
sing for God, that gives you different joy. That's why he felt so happy. Whereas you're singing for people, even some of the students, bhajans we sing those days, they sat in front of Swami and looking in his eyes, and Swami anyway inspires that. Some of those bhajans stirs our hearts and touches our things because they are inspired by Swami and are done in front of Swami. That is why, whereas the same thing, big singers I have seen singing, they are nice performance, I would say that, but not these offerings of love which these people have. That is why you need to do with love. So anything we do for God, that will be eternal. Anything you do for publicity. The classical case, Tyagaraja, so his king wanted him to sing, right? And he said no. There's a famous, his kirtana, Nidhi Sala Sukama, Ramuni Sannidhi Seva Sukhama. His money gives happiness, or the proximity to God. So that's the famous Kirtan of Tyagaraja. So it is what gives happiness, being in the. He refused. He didn't care what the king will think, but for him, and same thing, Potana, Bhakta Potana. He is in Telugu. He wrote the Bhagavatam. They wanted him to dedicate it to the kings. He says, no, I won't dedicate. I will dedicate only to the Lord. So that is thing. So that is why his book, same thing, Annamacharya, Kirtana. So all these great people, they gave more importance. God should be pleased with what I do, whether singing or poetry or epics or whatever it is. That is the ultimate. So that is good. Today I'm happy. Everybody is lively discussion instead of monologue. Is saying that it's good. So.
I'm also reminded of a Sai student, but he came from a spirit, like from a long line of Swami's devotees, and because of that, but he would say like he had this feeling he should sing for Swami because of that lineage, and he would tell Swami, "This is my great granddaughter, this is my grandfather, this is my mother." So to try to get Swami's attention, and Swami would say like that was their sadhana, that was theirs, but like basically in a nutshell, like it's not inherited devotion. It's like you have to make your sadhana personalized.
Yeah,
So like
everything is your heart to heart. So it is not like, and another thing is great, Swami says, the minute you have ego in big singers, I have seen students and people, he is a ego crusher. He right away stops. I have seen Swami, people think it is rude. In the middle of bhajans, he will tell them to stop. They may be got in the middle of the bhajan, I have seen it, and just take, and in front of you, that microphone will be there. Such a great one, Raja Reddy, he sang for Swami. Suddenly, Swami won't say that. I see to look that. Then they took away the microphone from him. But he's such a great devotee. My time is up. I know Swami knows whatever he does is for good. That means my time of singing is over, and he shared that in radio side. So people who are real into Swami, they realize when he's saying people are ego, they fight. Oh, I didn't get the position. Swami, not only singing, for him it is character. Recently, one devotee was singing very well, that a student was sharing. Next time he went after summer, he came back and he sat in his usual place singing. Then the warden comes and says, no, you and that boy cannot sing. Why? That's it, Swami said. I want to know what wrong I did before you say why you can't. He was arguing. Then he says, your hair, you didn't have proper haircut, it is too long, you are sure this is not the proper discipline you have. Swami was not. So for 6 months he put him out there. So it's not only important, you need to have good character, good qualities, good humility. So all of us, it's not easy, but it's continuous practice. We need to do that. Then you get his grace. Anybody, you want to make? Somebody wanted to say thing. Did you finish that quality? That is, I think, for next quality, I think it is detachment itself is taking. The whole Gita is nothing but about detachment, right? So Lord Krishna says, so you are not killing, nimitta matram bhava savya sachin. That is the greatest mantra. We are all instruments. We go on, remember, instruments of his love. If you remember that, so because service is great, but service has two major obstacles. What is that? Doership and enjoyership. Like snake, Swami says, has two fangs, right? The two fangs. And the two fangs is the poison that hits you, you will die. So what are those poisons? Ahankara and mamakara. This feeling of I am doing and attachment. You remove the two fangs, and the snake cannot hurt you. Similarly, we should need, it's not easy, lifelong practice. So the whole thing is, I and mine is bondage. I am this, I want it. Thou and thine, that means everything is God's, is liberation. So always everything offered to God, Lord is thine, your everything. So that kind of attitude we should develop.
May I say that? One more
Yeah,
thing?
so yeah, in 5 more minutes.
I know since we're talking about Gayatri mantra, in that editorial, when we just talk about the ego and pride, Viswamitra had to do thousands of years of penance and austerity to get the purity of the heart.
Yes.
So how that could be so
shows that when great people like that has struggled, what are we? Nothing.
Right.
Vishwamitra means Vishwamitra. He is the friend of the whole Vishwa universe. He got the title because he wanted to be Brahmarshi, competition with Vashishta, because that is the time ego. But once he got illumined and got that, then completely, then really he wanted the title Brahmarshi from Vashishta. So that is the great powerful mantra, but really it helps. Even simple things, some people silly things use Gayatri. They will chant, Swami, I will chant 10 Gayatri, I want a good parking spot. And one of our friends does that, she gets it. She chants Gayatri and she gets it. There's nothing wrong, at least for the reason you are chanting. So it really a time-tested, very powerful mantra, but we should use to have more love for God. That's what we should use.